Halo. Puji Tuhan. Aman aja. Hah? It's me. Cara masukin ya pakai kayak ini Saweria Gap, pakai link. Kamu ke 6K Labs lagi websitenya. Terus ke Amuse. Widget Amuse. Aku belum lihat punya sih. Nah, yaitu Muse. Generate copy link itu loh. Copy link. Itu atasnya biru yang kedua. Nah, OBS setting ya. Apa itu? Ya. Bacanya apa itu? Oh. Ya. Copy terus masuk ke TikTokmu kayak Saweria gitu. Nah, itu custom-customnya. Terus warnanya bisa diganti juga. Kayak yang kemarin sih kamu kirim TikTok orang Filipina itu pakai ini juga kok. Iya, benar. Copy spot TikTok nggak ada. Yang kena itu biasanya kayak Twitch sama YouTube harusnya kena. Enggak kok, YouTubeku nggak apa-apa kok. Nggak ke mute. Cuma ada di blok apa nggak bisa ditampilin di beberapa negara ya. Ya, kayak monetisasi. Ya, Zimbabwe. Ikut dong, Sleh. Ikut mukul Gaby. Halo. Gak kelihatan, Cap. Kamu ini ya gak ketok aku. Kenapa? Ya itu. Tinggal itu gak kamu? Leh. Halo. Nah itu kotaknya, terus itu sembawanya covernya langsung. Itu gak tahu aku. Fitur baru ini. Kayak Halo. Itu yang lawannya Saweria, apa skiarnya. Nah, penuh ya tapi ya. Tapi ya gak apa-apa. Itu apa itu? Oh. Alert buat apa ada yang masuk gitu dah. Oh. Kan. Iya, kan kelihatan di ininya TikTok live studionya. Ngapain? Kan layar NT2 ya. Itu yang dikasih orang kemarin. Yang kemarin. Halo. Apa? Cara apa? Itu gede. Apanya? Bisa gini loh. Halo. Iya. Kevin pasti. Sarah. Oh, pantes Kevin gak masuk Discord dari tadi anjing. Aku enggak. Makasih Slay, aku anggap itu pujian. Hah? Ya tinggal on cam. Sebenarnya ini kan gak usah main, kita lihat Paperix saja. Watch party. I miss her buff. Who are you?
Come and say g'day to an
Mana ini? Twitch.
Only halfway. Please, UV. Please, sir.
And yeah, we're going to be seeing it once again, or he'll have to conquer the demons once more. But this is only the second time in VCT, or the third time I should say in VCT, that we are seeing PaperX go up against Zeta. It was Copenhagen, and then it was the group stage, the round robin last year. That's the only time that they've ever clashed outside of the Riot Invitational over in Japan, which was a best of one. So I'm really curious to see how this looks, who's going to be able to get the overall win at the end of it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's super fascinating. Both of these teams have, I mean, this is the same, most of these teams have retained most of their core here with some slight adjustments on the roster. And obviously for Zeta Division, adjustments on the coaching staff here. And it'll be, I think today's going to be just a really exciting game to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this might be one of those moments where PaperX uses that card where they're allowed to change their agent whenever they feel like it. Yeah. I think that might happen today.
You know what, though? It doesn't, even if they were like about to get knocked out, they also like to last minute.
They are unpredictable for sure.
So that's just kind of how they roll. All right, PaperX is completely undefeated in stage 2. Is
Undefeated.
First to take them down, discover your casters, Quack and Chobra.
Thank you very much. Yes, a grueling best of 3 now wrapped up earlier, and now we're on to PaperX versus Zeta Division. Two teams that are just looking to show what they've got, right? Like the desk covered. There's no real change here, whether it's playoffs or champions. PaperX now qualified minimum by points, but we'll see. Zeta Division looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, they were pretty good against Talon, especially on Ascent, and that's going to be the first map that we're playing also. So I am to be honest, a little bit worried, right? That ascent composition that PaperX had just a few days ago.
Oke, watch party aku jadi nih
wasn't, like,
live-nya.
the most amazing thing, but we are changing things up a little bit right here.
Okay, so personally, I'm actually on board with these changes. So for those who missed it before, they did have the Silva still in there, not the Fade, and now we have the KO, so we finally do have some flashes to go with it. And this leans a bit heavier into creating more 50-50 fights, creating better fights for the Clove, for the Jet, and things like that. You can still do a little bit of util chaining with the KO and the Jet as well on the entry. So we'll see how this pans out. Forsaken has played the Fade several times here on Ascent specifically in the past. Now trying to bring that back out to counter the Silva util as well. Well, it's going to be the first map in this best of 3 Zeta Division, trying to prove that there is still a lot of hope and potential. Looking forward to the future with this lineup. Meanwhile, PaperX trying to continue to assert their dominance here in VCT Pacific. This is Ascent, the first map in this best of 3.
Most certainly, Zeta Division, they look pretty fired up on the stage, and at the same time, how exciting is it going to be? We're seeing like depth versus something. This is a matchup that we don't get to witness all too often, but here it is. PaperX versus Zeta. Of course, though, PaperX starting things out on the attack. This is where they really get to test their composition. This is where they get to, throw some curveballs at Zeta and see how they react to it.
And it's just going to be an all-in on the A side for the time being. The one lane completely surpassed with the Prowler. Again, that's where we start to see some util providing a bit more assistance than their previous composition.
Kamu jangan streaming di Discord.
With the Silva, sometimes you would just have to invest a 400 credit draw.
Ya, Chrome-nya juga sih. Berat Chrome itu. Asli.
As well. And there are no signs of slowing down. Zeta's trying to get ahead of this, but the paranoia is going to keep them at bay, and that should be a clean entry onto the site. Zeta just going to wait to regroup for the retake.
Yeah, door's been blocked off as well, and now it gets shut down. So it's a full-on pistol, 5-on-5. Not the most fun of fights, but that said, some other PaperX players are banged up a little bit low. Pop flashes through it. Depth instantly 2 headshots back-to-back. They're starting to find some legs in this run. They're going to push on through. Depth dives in. You're on relays over.
Pistol.
With that, PaperX 2-on-5. One player stuck inside main, one stuck inside the door. Might freak with the right clicks, able to find 2. But that's
cold as fuck.
They are still surrounding it. They are still sticking on that spike, and the defuse goes through. Zeta picks up the pistol.
Nice and clean retake, and I was afraid of something trying to get ahead of the flash drive, and he kind of did, but Dev was just quicker on the trigger, gets the double kill right as that door breaks. So Zeta understanding what they have to do. Meanwhile, PaperX just understanding that that's the one thing they needed to block, not quite landing the kills that they would have desperately liked. You're sure the flash drive a little bit late on that one, but still good for the trade as well.
Yeah, enough numbers. Ultimately, that's the thing. Depth. Would have been fun to see his POV on that, but still, I mean, it's going to be the Outlaw now. The buy-up from PaperX on full upgraded pistols.
Don't see that every day these days, especially with the Outlaw coming out. But trying to see if they can get just a bit ahead. Find a couple cheeky kills with the Sheriffs. See if it pays off. Jing looking to do a little bit extra with the Frenzy. Doesn't have a pick-me-up though, just the metal. Now Fragment used early from Uran. Just wants to stay ahead, just wants to make sure that he keeps distance. And Heaven is completely covered from last, but he gets taken out by the Ghost. The Outlaw now not landing either shot. Zeta, Uran needs to hang on, but he's taken out, the site completely given over. And now it's a 3v4 retake, never mind, take that back. A 1v2.
Forsaken has the Bulldog too, he just got the spike planted. And never mind that, it's going to be something who trains the Sheriff onto the top of Uran's forehead. PaperXing. It's going to be the Thrifty. Who would have thought the upgraded pistols would do it all? I mean, they just
udah makan.
Through the glass and found that instant shot onto where it's last.
Mau aku bungkus sin makanan.
Yeah, I mean, Laz was just trying to hold on to the connection onto Heaven, but obviously it was a bit of a short range. Not perfect for him if it goes into that wide swing, but either way, you have to wonder if PaperX is going to be doing this playoffs or champions as well, because I can't imagine it works every time, but it did this time, and it puts them well ahead on the economy. 5 rifles now to their name full util. Meanwhile, Zeta, this time looking to try to counter that Thrifty with one of their own. They do get ahead on the rotate, so just reading that it should be a fake, right? Put the smoke down on A main just to stall them, force them to rotate, and now we're gonna stack on B and hope that paper.
Gelut nih 5 lawan 5.
This team, they usually do.
Yeah. The question is, how is PaperX going to approach this, right? Laz has a shorty, and if he plays the position right, he might just be able to eliminate one player once and for all. But something, dives right into market, clears it out fully, and here we go, back to the A site.
I mean, the desk wanted crazy. We're getting crazy. The thing is it's a very
Balik lagi.
and something's just gonna find all the shots. Obviously at long range, total advantage for him. But what I love as I presume PaperX will take control of that A site, is that they go for B. They instantly see that there is a setup here because they tag more than one person. They tag the Killjoy as well, so Killjoy util set up. But they've already started to commit their util, so they just send something in, distract him. He goes all the way to mid, because if it's an eco, you gotta be stacking, you can't be spread out. And once he clears mid, you say, okay, well, it's a rotate, right? No one's gonna be able to cut us off.
Yeah, here's the thing, Will. It's just so
Cukup 2 map
wild
saja.
and funny that something just dives into market. What if someone was inside that smoke and he just goes in for the whole
think PaperX ever cares about someone being in the smoke? He'll just die. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he gets to kill every time, but he'll gladly sacrifice himself to the cause of W Gaming.
It's PaperX, man.
I mean, listen, it isn't ballsy, sure, but that is what makes PaperX PaperX. It's what makes some of their losses the most hurtful, but also it's what gets them ahead because they go for these plays that are high risk, high reward, because it absolutely secures a round if you're clear of danger.
High risk, high reward.
Never expect it. Now on to the next round. Of course, Zeta has to full buy, but PaperX has started to build up a bit of a bank. And Zeta's trying to be very cautious about this. Look, they're leaving an alarm bot to mark mid. Meanwhile, the rest of PaperX starting to set up for a bit of a B-split push. You've got Hidoran just trying to jiggle for, not jiggling anymore. He's going in to receive that information. Gets the first pick onto something, which is a very, very good pickup.
Now that's a confidence booster as well against something. And Def lining up, almost gets two, not quite gonna stabilize for the next. It's a quick pinch from main as well, but the Odin still alive and well. Only 10 HP, now decayed all the way down to 1. He needs to go for the pre-fire, but Jing's quick on it. He couldn't hear the audio because of the C's. Now a 2v2, Zeta Division at full health. They need this round. Going to wrap around, try to make sure that they can find another angle, but the door gets closed, and now you're out of options.
Huh?
Right. Door's quickly broken, though, so still some angles available. Smoke's dissipated as well. PaperX, at the very least, will be able to stick the spike down. And Zeta looking to push in together. They've got a flash, they've got several pieces of utility from the Omen. PaperX has to be very careful.
Now it's going to be the Nightfall nice and early as well, just to stall them. They've both been down to this side. It's a nice pop flash from Uran. He jumps out. One perfect timing, a double swing of beauty for Zeta Division. As they will be able to get this round and try to stabilize their economy.
Very respectful push. I mean, yeah, you don't want to give the Nightfall too much respect. Yes, your sound and everything might have been robbed, but just pushing on through because you have that pop flash, something that maybe PaperX didn't quite expect. With the jump as well, of all things, is what really threw them off. I mean, look at this. Even going for the spray transfer. Good job in marking their individual targets. But ultimately, it's also another thing that PaperX, going a little bit too wild, Laz had the Odin, and he was always stuck inside a boathouse. This is what we saw just yesterday when they were playing against Talent.
Now Forsaken will pick up his own
Haji Maste.
He's always favored this
Haji
Torik attacking side here on Ascent. With that fade, gives him a lot of map control. And this is where we started to see that PaperX style of using the Odin for map control, just for complete distractions, trying to mask their audio, things like that. We'll see if it continues. This time around, it continues that suppression, allowing something to dig deep into mid. No backup though. Doesn't need it.
Not at all. Hidoran trying to stay
Kenapa,
Pin? The trade, but ultimately shut down right now, and the rest of PaperX continuing to barrel through in towards A short. They managed to find all of it.
Hello.
Fragment, though, will be able to catch Jing. Now on to Dep. He's already arrived on the crime scene, but Mind Freak has different ideas. Instantly knows.
Gimana? Udah basah belum ngeliat Mind Freak?
He was at the crime scene just a bit too early. He became the end of the crime.
Enggak, karena tadi kan tadi kasih disapu lagi, bangsat.
Now leading 3-2 rather. You know, I do wonder, do you think the Clove with the pick-me-up zoomies is closer to Ray's movement speed or Neon? Because here's the thing, it is very clear that they're trying to find another agent for Jing to get comfortable, and one of the things he's best at is the whole left-right movement, the micro adjustments while he's fighting. We saw this when he had the Neon, we see it sometimes when he has the Clove. I just wonder if he has a preference.
Guess we'll have to wait for an interview to ask him that, but for now, certainly either agent looks pretty darn good, and FavorX looking to continue to aggress to the A site. They're just diving straight in. No room for Zeta to breathe whatsoever. Something pops up onto the top generator, but he doesn't quite land it. You're not in Zero. Maintenance trades go through, but Jing,
what is that?
the ultimate, he's come back into the game, and all that's left is going to be Hero Ron. How does he play around this? He's only got a Sheriff, and he's been smoked off. You cannot peek this. No, sir. Spike gets planted now. He's going to have to figure a way out of this.
Jing, he's going to have another smoke. Huron doesn't really have many options. He'll slowly creep out. He wants to isolate 1v1s, but Mind Freak's not going to give it to him. By the time he drops down onto the box, he will start to get exposed. Sound made. He doesn't land the first shot, and Mind Freak cleans up. And boy, oh boy,
I miss her buff.
Back in 2022, where every team starts to play at PaperX's own pace.
Oh, gitu Dasli.
I'll just say it like it is. It is as messy and crazy as it can get, and it's Zeta trying to counter PaperX's style, right? It's them trying to make sure that they keep up with it, and they're doing their best, quite frankly. I mean, they're getting close, but PaperX thrives in these scenarios.
It's really fun to watch, to say the least. Euron actually diving head first into that with a stinger.
Revealing area.
Something that we don't see too often every day now. Zeta going version of
kepencet.
Tiles Crunch, back up the top spots, out the top of Devi's head, and that's going to be Depp finding the shot into his cranium. The next on, though, is going to be PaperX as they hang on back from B lobby. Smoke things off, trying to rotate through, but the spike has been dropped.
Yeah, the spike being dropped is a big one. Now, Zeta Division, their hold around the spike actually isn't that safe, so I would love to see them back out eventually. I love that. They're just going to say, okay, if they do pick it up, they pick it up. They're going to have to spend so much time anyway. We'll even smoke it off just to make sure that they'll have to use some extra util. But meanwhile, Forsaken's already ahead of it, so PaperX reads that that's the correct move from Zeta. And now a bit of a back and forth on the chessboard as Mind Freak sets up. Tries to make an opening here for something to break through. Mind Freak's going to be there for cover. The shock dart gets full damage.
Metal being sent out as well, so this is a very good telling that PaperX is about to head into the A site. Hiruran trying to return in kind, but unfortunately eats a bullet to the face from Jing.
That speed is so fast.
Selesai itu Zeta.
I know. He has those zoomies. And now he's looking to watch out some of these angles, trying to push on through, maybe mark his own smoke. He has the ultimate, so why not go in for this, right?
Well, instantly uses it. And it's just going to be him jumping back and forth, trying to find the kill. Come on, it's still Death that you're fighting against. Give the man some respect.
God.
Forsaken will be able to clean it up. That's a 3K for the Fade as PaperX now leads 5-2.
I can't believe he went for it like that. I thought he would have like dropped back down to hell or something.
Nah, you gotta keep going. The thing is, quite frankly, that is how you should be playing the Clove Ultimate, right? I mean, if you're gonna pop it, you gotta chase. Like, you can't back down from that.
Fair enough, especially if you have your teammates right there to back you up. So, I mean, PaperX are doing their thing. And this is one of the more interesting things. Yes, a couple of days they did play this. Jing did have, you know, a mixed bag of performances against RQ, but apart from changing up that Sova to the Fade, they also swapped the Cypher out. So, I mean, having this double initiator now, yeah, they might not be able to watch their backs or have the best defensive setups, but the aggression that they've got, and you can see all of this in all of its greatness in all of these rounds.
Yeah, and this is not a team, you know, that has to always have a Sentinel. PaperX, obviously, they brought out the no Sentinel compositions on Sunset, over on Lotus, and as long as you're aware of that weakness that you have, and you can control other parts of the map, I mean, listen, I'm not going to fault it. I'm sure it's not as stable,
it's not
one would argue. Sure, but, I mean, we'll see, because PaperX, the thing is even on defense, if you're able to push out pretty aggressively, take control of either A main or B main, at that point, the extra smokes, it could really help creating some better angles for you, especially on a map that is already favorable for the defensive side. Now we'll see
Nah.
Zeta Division after that timeout. They do have a bunch of ultimates, but not the weaponry to follow up. So they will be leaning heavier towards that ace side, just hoping that they made the right read.
Yeah, it's going to be Hiroran with a Sheriff alone on the B side. He's got the ultimates, though, Zeta Division. At the very least, they're trying to mark this. This would increase their chances of winning out the site if PaperX decided to commit to an A hit, given the crossfires they all set up. PaperX just holding for a bit of a default hold for the time being, but then now, without any information, seeing the smokes, actually thinking about hitting into A.
Yeah, I mean, they got pinged by the 0 point, and they realize it's their jet, so they just say, okay, hey, let's go over to A. This is working out for Zeta Division so far, but they've actually stopped them with the utility with still a minute on the clock. So PaperX could rotate if they wanted to. They can also push in after the util's been used, but PaperX gets the read. They say, whoa, okay, that's like way too much utility coming in from main. We got to figure out a different way to enter into the site. They're going to find the weak spot. Uran's trying to get ahead of it, and Jing's good for the first kill. Dev trying to line anything, but cannot find his target. Sugar Zero will be good for one, but it's just going to be the KO that gets revived.
Nyawanya baru 7 ini.
That. Now it's going to be Hiroran kind of on his own with a Sheriff, having to go for something, anything. I mean, this was just amazing reads from PaperX. They just saw
Coba 4 second-nya pakai Sage, beuh.
smokes off, trying to bait some of it out. They figured something was kind of sus about this, and you were
Absen.
absolutely right. They pushed on through from short, and they saw everything possible. Now Jing drops down with the shorty. PaperX on up 6 rounds.
All right, Zeta Division had that timeout before the previous round.
Lucu tuh beli,
They talked about both possibilities. So now with the operator, now with the ultimates, this is where you need to slow things down. Jing just thriving in the chaos. Even when he used to play the Rays, this is how he would open up space, create control for PaperX. Now trying to find that comfort zone on the Clove.
Starting to be a little bit more comfortable with it. I mean, he was kind of top fragging when they played this against RRQ. Just maybe not super successful, but that said, with the right agents this time, all that support coming in, he's able to trade out through and through. Something just dives right in, but the Hunter's Fury from Laz, straight into A main, 2 players down.
I mean, that lineup is so good against A main. They popped the nanostorms early, so they knew that people had to be stuck in main. It's a good call, but you've already given up heaven, and something's trying to get ahead of it. Does Zeta predict it? Yes, they do. The drone comes out, but how many members are they suspecting? Uran, good for the spam. He actually gets Mind Freak in return, so that makes things even easier.
Uran looking a little bit more
Selesai tuh,
tactical.
Berex.
So with a lockdown now, PaperX pretty much pinned down in towards A main, or maybe even Wine. So the one-way smoke comes out. Jing tries to give his teammates a little bit more secure cover as they spam on through into the spike. Something manages to find the first, Forsaken onto the next. No way this happens, right? All right, Hiroran's managed to stick the defuse all the way through, and that's going to be the round.
I was so scared that Forsaken was just going to full send the Nightfall right as he got diffused. That would have been, I would imagine that's when you call a timeout, no matter what, if you're Alex.
And Alex just like starts spamming the desk.
Well, the desk just isn't there anymore. Goes to a tech pause. We did ask him on the Korean desk about that time where he slammed his desk and then we had a tech pause because the coach PC had a problem. And he tells us that he did slam his desk, but then he was just leaning back to watch the next round and he accidentally hit a cable with his feet. So not completely correlated. But here we go, off shot. Bit of a whiff here from Depp as something goes right into the side, and Huron's good for 2. Headshots back to back. Forsaken now stuck. Last fire.
Selesai itu, Berex.
No way to back out, and now the spike in Devi's hands, stranded in Cubby.
He's trying to find someone to shoot, but they're not really quite giving it to him. Mindfreak comes in to support, eliminates Depp, so Devi now having a bit of cover, he manages to back off. Mindfreak, though, still stuck around the side. He's trying to sneak on through, making them think that he might be around market, but nope. Right after him, Uran manages to shoot a point blank.
And that's just going to be too many targets. Devi can't find 1 out of the 4. And Zeta starting to cash back up, 4-6.
Great positioning from Zeta Division. You can see it all happen again.
Adalah benar.
Defensive setups have been something to behold, especially when they played this against Talon.
Gak ada yang mustahil.
Even with the Nightfall though, Hiroran was
Aku lali
able
be.
to hold things down on his own, watching that alleyway as everyone tried to push on through.
Now Huron smiling as well, looking comfortable. I mean, this role swap, let's talk about that a little bit for Zeta Division. Came a bit late into the stage, but it has been looking so much better. They all just look so much more comfortable. Yes, it comes at the cost of Laz not really being free to roam about and anchor and lurk, but if it overall raises the average of your team, the comfort level, the comms, maybe it's worth it as something. Now trapped completely, all the util dumped to make sure that the Jet cannot escape. And Zeta gladly will leave the site open as they've already weakened PaperX on their attack.
Yeah, numbers now. Still though, we've got the controllers and Jing is still very much alive. They managed to take down the site and the door being shut down. Forsaken slowly starting to set up for himself a bit of a lurk. He doesn't see anything quite yet though, and look at that 0 point. Might have been able to retrieve all the information that they needed. So reinforcements now in for PaperX. They're starting to mark out tree, but Zeta just reads this right as well. They go all the way through down from heaven. Depp with the shorties, able to get the first. Device snaps onto a first head. Jing in with the not dead yet, but he's still kind of trying to find these shots. Zeta just out in the open, in the cold. Laz trying to nail them down, but Jing and Forsaken, the duo lives. Down Zeta's neck.
Great micro movements there from Jing. I mean, even using the not dead yet to come right back alive. Teams back up with Forsaken. Crosshair placement, crisp here from Jing and Forsaken both. The power duo of PaperX right here. I mean, just the spacing from these two are so good as well. Using the pick-me-up for the extra speed. Forsaken covering their back. They've got everything calculated. As they take the lead back, 7-4, see how much more they can get in this last round. If they can make it a 4-round lead.
Subtitle berarti. Subtitle berarti.
But that said, Zeta Division. Now, one thing that I have been loving from Zeta is the way that they're being proactive on the defense. I mean, look at this, the way that they've pushed into B main. In previous rounds, the tiles crunch that they kind of innovated certainly throws PaperX in for a bit of a loop. They might not anticipate this, and the operator shot sounds off. Depp dives straight in, tries to look for the second late, but unfortunately does not quite land. Something will be able to pick up the spike, and he tailwinds away.
Yeah, that's still going to be two very crucial kills. It's the initiators gone from PaperX. So the execute's not going to have the full setup. You just have to rely on your peaks now. You can create advantageous angles, you can create 50-50s with the extra smokes, but that's about all you got if you're PaperX. Paranoia used to push them back. That actually draws out the counter recon, so now they don't have to worry about that before the round ends. They can at least get the spike down, and then it'll come back off of cooldown.
You are trading utility, so now your only option is to kind of walk in or maybe use your smokes to sneak onto site. Sugar Zero is right here, waiting to mark. Euron with a 0 point again, manages to retrieve the information necessary. Fragment out, and it kind of does stall something very low. So is Mind Freak, and they have to find their shot. Sugar Zero repositions. They've dropped down, they're clearing out health, but where is Sugar Zero? Right around Generator. He plays around his smoke, and ring around the Rosie, the headshot.
Damn.
Something. 5-7 for Zeta at the end of this first half.
There are small things you can take away, especially if you're interested in Zeta Division's play and their future, right? Overall, compared to the rest of this year, their teamwork looks better. You touched upon it earlier, just a bit of more decisive.
The finals.
Up to 5 rounds, still behind as they now try to plan their attack.
Looking really good for Zeta Division. It is Ascent though on the defense, but I wonder how
last but
this
not least
composition actually works out without the Sentinel.
Jing, please
But that said,
carry me or
like,
marry me.
You know, slight improvements from every player from Zeta Division. You know, Euron having the awareness to send that 0 point at that time, and also Depp. Well, Depp doing Depp things.
I mean, Depp coming back alive, right? He's always been good, but he has had some relatively quieter days. But yesterday, today, both firing on all cylinders once again. 9 kills, still 11 deaths, but trying to continue to raise that on the scoreboard.
Meanwhile, it's Huron actually with the most kills right now. But for the other side of Paper X, Jing and Something being able to find these trades and entries. Can they do the same on the defensive half, though? The way that they are positioned tells me that they're trying to peek out and potentially push up front mid as well.
Yeah, it's just going to be that classic mid push on the pistol from the defense. Zeta seemingly quite well aware of it. Now, Huron's going to be looking to play close to mid to make sure his turret is available over on the B side as well. Common setup that we've seen more and more often. As now, with that mid push out, it's just a clear execute onto the A site. Does Paper X try to cut off the backup? As Depp is not going to be able to land. He hears the noise, so he's just going to back off in time. Gets the trade, but Laz already taken down. It's a quick kill onto Mindfree. Paper X trying to fill the gaps where they can. Something I believe is in the site. He's going to peek out, but Huron swings around, gets the kill off of the spike plant. He'll go for it again. Another tap just to draw out the target. And Zeta keep 4 alive.
Is this the same Huron that we've been seeing in Zeta? I mean, he's actually very rare, and he's like marking all of these angles and shots landed. Paper X were trying to find that timing to deny the spike plant, trying to throw a wrench in Zeta's plans, but it wasn't quite happening because of every player, you know, watching everything. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that Huron sometimes was
di ini lus-lus, kalau aku biasanya bangun di lus-lus. Mbak mamaku maksudnya. Alvin bangun gitu. Ya misalnya lihat mau kerja gitu loh kan, dibangunin.
Marshall comes out for something on the defense though, on their eco, so going for a couple greedy buys today on Ascent. See if it pays off.
There.
So far, nothing quite yet. Forsaken trying to swoop in, but he doesn't spot anything whatsoever. Sounds inside of
kotor semua. Semuanya kotor, tau gak?
He hears the turret though.
Yeah, well, you hear the turret looking for a lurk, right? So that should let you know that the main
forces
are over. Even find the kill onto the Killjoy, and that all but confirms it. Paper X now forcing them to fight. Zeta will answer in kind, and Dev will answer in spades as he gets a double headshot. Great space for his teammates to enter onto the site. Still a little bit of damage taken, especially Laz being at 21 HP. Dev already taken down. Forsaken looking for it, but the one-way's just too strong against him. He's not going to be able to peek around it, and he will drop.
Oh, it's Jing's one-way too.
Yeah, I know. Trying to mask them from the drop, but obviously not favoring him on those peaks.
Dirimu.
The decision to dive into the site. He doesn't just dive straight in. He dives over onto the right side where he has the angle to spot every single player out. And then you have the aim, the way he's able to swivel back and forth. And of course, Laz coming in to support and find those trades as well. This is that Zeta division that is firing on all cylinders for sure.
Whoa! That's one of the
started.
Yeah, that's one of the cleanest counter spams I've ever seen. And then, as soon as they take out the Odin, they know they can get in. It's a free site because there's no Sentinel. The Odin's the only thing that's going to hold it back for a long time. I mean, sure, if there's a paranoia, but outside of that, there's no actual damage to be done against you if you're going in for the execute. Decisive Zeta division.
Dan mempesona.
Zeta division. It's a decisive Zeta division.
As long as he keeps predicting against them, then yes.
There's just too many curses flying around in Pacific.
Meanwhile, it is a 3-on-5 retake that Paper X is considering. The economy doesn't look too great.
Scanning ahead.
But yeah, holding out for exits instead.
Oh, tiada yang hebat.
I mean, damage done is damage
Okay.
done. And Mindfree will clean house.
But no defuse. That said, yes, absolutely closer to the ultimates. A lot of good kills and robs those guns away from Zeta Division. They will be able to buy back though.
Yeah, I mean, most importantly, I guess the Odin not being carried away by Zeta Division. Not sure if they would have chosen to use it or not. But
Kamu ngomong tahan itu ngomongin siapa, Pin?
you have the opportunity to do damage, you might as well. You're still able to save
Apa ngomongin apa?
that you had starting from the post plant situation. So you will just stick with those two. And now, if you're able to start to stop Zeta's pushes a bit, Econ is even down. That's a fast push out. What?
Was he blinded?
A half blinded, but something recovers quickly enough. I mean,
Crazy reflexes.
oh wow. Well, Sugar Zero, that's a wake-up call. And now, no smokes for Zeta Division on the attack.
Tapi mati.
Oh my god, and now just watching the angles, Forsaken, ever so precise. Laz will be able to fight back though with the Prowler, a bit of a false tell. Now with that, Zeta gets to walk into the B site, everyone's trying to rotate on over. Something does not
Oh,
spot anything, but if he just
tiada
walks
yang
back a little bit
hebat.
further out front, might be able to spot them inside of tiles. Hunter's Fury instantly sent through, doesn't spot anything whatsoever, so he knows they're not quite around defender spawn, not yet.
Yeah, with the door broken now.
Pas kalian lah, anjing.
So Laz wanted information, but he doesn't quite get anything. The drone already used as well, so you've already done all the stalling you possibly can. Now you just have to be able to go for the kills. And Debbie's got a
Laki angkat tangan nih.
into the dimension for the smokes. And Deb will now be the nuisance in B main. Paper X, they need to move while the smoke is still
Absen,
on.
absen.
It's the first line of defense. Huron goes down, but there are the pinks. Laz holds them back. And
Whoa,
Deb
oh.
get the spam
Oh,
through.
oh.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
He tracks the pinks. He just tracks him.
We need to see that slow-mo because yes, this tracking was awesome, but at the same time it was a bit